as Omicron served. Thursday, DeSantis at a news conference in West Palm Beach, and Kevin Guthrie, the director of State Division of Emergency Management, confirmed Florida had between 800,000 and a million COVID tests that expired right around Christmas. They had originally expired in September, but the state received a 3-month extension on those test kits from manufacturer and federal regulators. They tried to give them out before they initially expired in the fall, but there was not a demand for them. Right before the last few weeks, there had been plenty of tests out there. We just didn't have any demand. Then Omicron hit, we had the demand, and these tests were expired back in September. So we had to ask for special permission to make sure that they were still good. And they got the extension. Nobody wanted them. And then they expired again. But my question is, if they had an expiration date from 3 months ago, how did what changed where they were still good for 3 more months? And that's the problem with what's going on with COVID. Is there seems to be no rhyme or reason to the decisions they make, and there's no explanation to them. They had between 800 and 1 million COVID tests that expired in around Christmas. But that's because they had originally expired in September, but the manufacturer gave them a 3-month extension. Said, no, they're still good for another 3 months. Well, if they were good for another 3 months, why'd they expire in September? Why'd they have an expiration date in September if they could last to December? Because if they could last to December, then you could give them a 3-month extension then. I don't understand the lack of explanation that we get through all this COVID. They give you enough to scare you, but not enough to make you understand. And a lot of people don't have a problem with that. Oh, well, it's my government. They wouldn't harm me. Huh? Right here, it says that these testing kits expired in September. But then they spoke to the manufacturer. Manufacturer said, no, they're still good for 3 more months after their expiration date. Well, why'd you put that expiration date on them then? We don't have to tell you that. Just know they're good through December. Huh? I don't get why you put an expiration date on something if it doesn't have an expiration date. Or if it's 3 months longer than the date you put on it, why would you do that? Except to cause confusion and cause hysteria and cause fear from shortage of testing and everything. I just used the word fear 3 times. Oh, maybe that's what's going on. No, that couldn't possibly be it. There's no way fear has any factor in this. No. Who would try to scare an entire Oh, yeah. That's what they've been doing for the last 2 years. Trying to scare the entire world population. With tests that expire, but do they? Because technically these expired in September. But then they got a reprieve until late December. But now they're expired for a second time, and all of a sudden it's Ron DeSantis' fault because he was hoarding them. Well, you told him in September they weren't any good. Then you told him, no, we just lied. They're still good till December. There wasn't a demand. Omicron hit in late December. Then the demand happened. They're expired again. Can we get them where they're not expired again? Nope, they're expired. So what was it? Did they expire in September and you extended it? Or they really did expire in December? You just cut the expiration date off 3 months earlier to cause hysteria. Which one is it? Because it's a little confusing. Either they expired in September and we're using old, out-of-date testing, or they didn't expire in September, they didn't expire until December, but you put an early expiration date on them to cause a shortage and cause hysteria and to be able to control people with fear. Which is it? Oh, wait, they're not going to answer us because that would mean they would have to let us behind the curtain. It is becoming so not about the science and so about control. And it's always been about that, but now they're not even trying to cloak it. Not even trying to cloak it. And now they're trying to usurp the Constitution. We'll talk about that later in the show, how the Democrats are now trying to just, without getting a constitutional amendment, are trying to change the Constitution. Yeah. Without a constitutional amendment, they're trying to change the Constitution. We'll talk about that later in the show today. But when I saw this, that these tests had expired, but they hadn't expired, but now they're expired again, I thought, well, that just is exactly what they've been doing for 2 years, feeding the fear and anxiety people have over this disease that they told us was going to kill. Remember, it was going to kill between 2 and 4 million people in the United States in the first 6-8 months if we didn't shut down and get a handle on it. And then they're able to say, see, we shut down, so it didn't kill the people we thought it was going to do. Our math wasn't wrong. Our science was right. Well, I don't know what the hell's going on with these tests. Did they expire in September or did they expire in December? And you just put a September expiration date on them to use it in case you had a shortage and could use it as a fear tactic. I don't know. But that's how distrusting this whole thing has turned people against each other. Even family members have had chasms in their family over this one issue of COVID and how it's being handled in the United States. We'll take a break. We'll be back at this time out. 1370 AM, 96.3 FM. This is WOCA, The Source.
Broadcasting from the Ocala International Airport, this is WOCA AM, W242CA FM, Ocala, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
USA Radio News with Lance Pry.
Chicago Democrat Mayor Lori Lightfoot announced Tuesday that she has tested positive for COVID-19. She says she is feeling fine and is experiencing cold-like symptoms. Also in the region, in-person classes